Hello my friends, this is Lionel Anderson here with you guys with a brand new YouTube video. And as you can see, it's titled The Brutal Truth. I've done a few of these brutal truth videos in the past, and for those of you who've been following me for a while, you always know when I do the brutal truth video, it's a rant. That's right, today's going to be a rant. I'm fired up, I got a lot of energy to release because I see what's going on in the world. And I see people starting to beg for a one-world government. Oh, yeah. Well, as you can see, I started today's video off with a little picture there. It shows Trump, his latest tweet. He's starting to take this whole making Canada the 51st state of the United States thing. He's starting to make it serious. Before it was always a joke, and it would start off with a joke with him and Trudeau that Canada should become the 51st state and he could be Governor Trudeau. Everybody's laughing. He's putting out tweets like that. Yeah, Trump did that to mock Trudeau, but now it's turning to like, hey, it'd actually be a good idea. And we actually have people. Okay, and I'm a Canadian myself, okay? So I have Canadians on my friends list and everything. I have it popping up in my feed. A lot of Canadians are supporting this. And Americans and all over. People want this. They think, oh, what a great idea. But as you can see, the beginning picture, I took that screenshot off X. And this is all part of the deception of this new golden age that's going to lead to a one-world government. And my friends, I was supposed to be working on my next video today, which is going to be on the golden age. See, right here, I'm making a video, the golden age of Saturn. The golden age is tied to Saturn and AI. People don't understand what golden age means. So stay tuned, because that's going to be the next video on my channel. And it's going to show you what this golden age is all about. But all this stuff has been going viral about what Trump just said. And I figured I needed to make this video first before we get to that video, because I gotta reveal the brutal truth to you guys who think this is such a great idea. Okay, if you're sitting here, and first off, before I get to this rant, I just want to make it clear, if you're somebody who's following me, who still loves Trump, and let's say you think this is a great idea, merging Canada and everything. Well, I'm about to say some things that might trigger you, but I want to make it very clear, it's tough love. I still love you. I'm not saying I hate you or anything like that. But we're at the point in this scenario where humanity's falling right into the NWO. And if people can't see it by now, you guys need tough love, okay? So try not to take it personally, but just listen to what I have to say and learn, okay? There's been an agenda by the powers that be for a long time to form a one-world government. And I remember back in the day, people were awake to this. They were awake to the NWO. Not everybody. Of course, the brainwashed masses are never awake to it. But people who consider themselves truthers were against this and knew of this. But now, due to this infiltration of the truth community with controlled opposition shills and fake government leaders like Trump who try to act like they're for freedom, now we have people who once considered themselves truthers openly wanting a one-world government, calling for it, begging for it. So they've been talking about for a long time, this is a long, age-old concept of forming a North American Union, okay? We got in Europe here, a European Union now. It wasn't always like that. That has been talked about by the globalists for a long time, centralizing the power. So now it's the European Union, and it's all very centralized, okay? That was the first step of their agenda. The second step was the North American Union. Now I'm going to show you a couple videos to show you this is something that's been talked about by the globalists for a long time, okay? And don't think that this is just going to be Canada and US merging, because now you got to realize Trump is the salesman for this, to pitch this idea. So he comes out, oh, Canada and United States, it's because if I'm going to put all these tariffs on Canada if they don't meet my demands on this and that. That's where this is all coming from. Canada's getting worse and worse to live. I am a Canadian. It's the inflation's crazy. Trudeau, everybody says Trudeau destroyed our country. Well, again, he's a puppet. It's the WEF who's destroying the country. It's not, they're even puppets. It's the powers that be, the astral demons who are destroying things, okay? All these other entities, government entities, politicians, they're all just puppets themselves carrying out these agendas, okay? But everybody seems to want to blame Trudeau, which, yes, he's been horrible. And now they think, well, geez, what a great idea if we merge with the United States, because all those problems will be gone. That's what Trump just said in his tweet, pretty much. Be a powerful country, all under one military. Oh, that sounds like a one-world military we're eventually going to get to, right? And don't think it's just going to be Canada. Mexico, there's been talks that Mexico is going to be involved too. Trump just recently is talking about merging Mexico. So now I'm going to show you two videos, and one's from 2023, one's from 2022, but they're all talking about concepts that go back years and years and years in the past, talking about the North American Union. So you can see this is nothing new. This is a globalist agenda. Take a look.
There is evidence, however, that this plan was seriously studied by both Washington and Ottawa. A diplomatic dispatch from January 2005, which was published by WikiLeaks in 2011, contains a discussion by U.S. government officials on the best approach to North American integration, based on an assessment of Canada's views. The dispatch suggested a new North American initiative that would pursue goals in the areas of security and prosperity through incremental measures, saying such a proposal would get the most support from Canadian policymakers. This later resulted in another agreement involving shared security and increased economic cooperation under the 2011 USMCA, but it's still an initiative far from a viable union, let alone a vision of a single superstate. And here we come to the question of whether this would be worthwhile in this day and age, and whether it is even viable in the coming years. Let's look at the data on the map. The new supercountry or union could be named after the abbreviations of Canada, the US, and Mexico. That is, it would be CANUSMEX. Globally, it would be the most powerful region, which geopolitically would change the international balance forever. As I mentioned above, a total of 501 million people would live here, which would rank it third in the world just behind China and India. But
You guys need to see this and you need to share it. Mexico's president has been discussing with the U.S. Secretary of State the possibility of merging the American continent into an EU style of government. They want to consolidate the North American region. That's Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Just as the European community first emerged and became the European Union, that is what we want. And remember, we means them, not us. When I was a teenager, we had reports about this in Canada. And when we made a big fuss about it, the politicians all turned around and pretended like it was a joke and it was never going to happen. But now enough time has gone on, they're taking another stab at it. So I ask you, Zoomers, is this what you want?
There you go. So as you can see, they've been talking about this a long time. You know, David Icke, I've read a lot of his books, and he's been talking about this for the past 30 years, since the 90s, how there was a plan to do all this. Okay? Now, we got Trump coming out, presenting the idea. They're finally pitching the idea to the public. Canada and US should become one. And now, as you can see, Mexico as well. It's been in the news headlines and everything that they're thinking about joining in Mexico. And I'm sure Cuba will join and all the other places. It's all going to merge. The North American sector of the world will all merge into the North American Union, all under the US of A. It was the plan all along. Why are they doing this? They want centralized power, okay? And you guys got to remember, it's all going to be run by AI. People are saying, oh, can you imagine all the money that's going to be racked up and it's going to be such a prosperous nation? But they forgot that we're heading into the age of AI. AI is going to take everyone's jobs. This is going to turn into a dystopian nightmare of slavery. We're heading right into the NWO. So you're going to have the North American Union, the European Union, and then what do we have going on the other side of the world there? BRICS, right? We got BRICS with all the BRICS countries joining in all together. It's not just Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Now, over 100 different countries have signed up and want to join BRICS. And of course, they want all under a one currency. And of course, we're moving towards digital currency, right? Cryptocurrency. Trump himself has said he's going to be the crypto president. That's right. We're all moving away from cash. It's going to be a cashless society. It's all going to go digital. All that needs to happen is war and other calamities, which we now seeing unfolding. WW3, they just are announcing mainstream right now that World War III has begun. Okay? So what they need is the right crisis. It's called order out of chaos to collapse the world's economies. And then they can bring in the new system, the CBDC. Okay? A central bank digital currency to centralize the money. And now we're going to have centralized bases of control of power with all these different unions. Okay? Along with their own digital currencies, with their own militaries, and things are going to be much more centralized. But then these wars are still going to escalate, and then another crisis needs to happen, such as a false flag alien invasion, Project Bluebeam, which we see them building up to, and then they'll say, hey, we need to unite together even further. So there's no borders at all. And we all merge together as one. As a one world government. Exactly what they've wanted. So we could fight the aliens or whatever bullshit they come up with. You know, these things don't happen overnight. Because, you know, they've tried for many, many years to implement a one world government, going back to Roman times. That's always what the powers that be wanted, but it's always failed. And now they feel like this is their shot that they can do this. Okay? But they know it doesn't happen overnight. Which is much more easier is to make a European Union, then a North American Union, then a BRICS Union. Okay? And then once that's all there and set in place, it'll be easier to combine them all into one. So this is what's happening now. Okay, so what is the public's response to this? I struggle to find any comments of people saying this is a bad idea. There's a few people saying this is a bad idea, but the overwhelming majority of people think, oh, we should join with the United States. I'm talking about Canadians, okay? The vast majority, even people in the truth community, thinking this is such a great idea. Yeah, I want to join with the USA. It shows these people are not awake. They have no knowledge. They have no idea what's going on. As soon as I heard this, the first thing I thought of, one world government, because I know what's going on. I've studied this for damn years. Okay? I started making videos back in 2011, believe it or not, and I founded my own organization, which has been on Facebook for many years, the NWO Freedom Fighters, warning people of the NWO. I knew about this agenda all the way back then. People who are truly awakening and have actually done research and studied the agenda and know Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, all know that this is what they've wanted to do, to combine these countries all together, make these unions, and make it a one world government at the end of the day. People who've done no research and have no clue what's going on with the world, they don't know that because they're not awake at all. They're brainwashed sleepers. But they think they're awake. That's the thing. If you want to believe all this stuff, fine. But don't you dare say you're a truther and that you're awake. That's disrespectful. Because you're not. You're a sheep. Because if you're awake, you would know this is part of the agenda. Okay? But people don't know. They just started realizing since the thing that they wanted you to get came out and all that there's some corruption in the world. And so many people, they're awake against that, but they support the guy who takes full credit for it. They support Trump, who's the guy who wants to be the leader in AI, takes full credit for the thing they wanted you to get, calls himself the father of that, rolled out 5G, all these things, and now he wants to merge the countries together to form these unions. That's what it is. A long-standing globalist agenda. And they think they're awake, but they support the guy who's taking full credit for all these things moving forward. Why? Because he says he's for freedom, and he says some things that I like to hear. Zion Dawn. Okay, like I said, I have to blow off some steam in this video, because as a Canadian, I think it's repulsive that fellow Canadians are sitting here supporting this. Like, no pride to be Canadian at all whatsoever. Everyone's saying the same thing. Trudeau's ruined our country, so we just gotta join with the States. Where's the frickin' Canadian spirit in you? I'm damn proud to be Canadian myself. I love our own sovereignty. I love our country, and I think it's a beautiful thing. I don't want to just give away the thought of being Canadian so easily. How about let's fix what's going on in our own country and stop waiting for the government to do it? How about the people stand up and fight back? Just like when we had the whole trucker movement going, you know? We actually made some change with that. That's when everything got dropped, all the mandates and stuff. I think the government was actually scared at that point. But now it's like we totally stopped fighting back. We totally stopped caring or trying. And now we're just like, yeah, oh, Trump, let's support Trump. Zion done. The billionaire connected to the Rothschilds his whole life, you know, connected to all these Zionists and whatnot, being funded by Peter Thiel, the World Economic Forum, and Bilderberg, all his connections, the father of the thing they wanted you to get. A guy who's so clearly involved with all these agendas, a clear deceiver, but we want to be part of his country, a global country of North American Union now, because he says a few things that we like to hear. Creates the illusion. He's the salesman of the agenda. You think that they were going to be able to do all this with Biden? Do you think that Canada was going to want to join the North American Union and join under the USA if Biden was presenting this, or if Kamala Harris was presenting this? Seriously, ask yourselves that. If this was Kamala Harris and she was going to be president-elect and she came up with this idea, guess what? Nobody would be for it. They wouldn't want to join. Oh, but it's Trump. He's the salesman. They needed a charismatic leader. Huh? Illuminati card game? Charismatic leader. Part of that card game from the 1990s. Okay? They needed a charismatic leader to bring in this agenda, because they knew with everything they were going to start doing, people are going to start realizing there's something wrong. They fear people truly waking up. That's what they fear. But if they could, know that maybe some people realize some of the obvious corruptions, but then take them off path by putting in a puppet who tells them what they want to hear, then they could redirect them down a different path into the totalitarian Orwellian nightmare, dystopian nightmare. You guys don't think that they've planned for all options and considered everything? These people, okay, these billionaires and these world leaders and these secret societies, they have had this in the plans for hundreds of years, and it goes beyond them. It goes to their astral AI, and it goes to the astral demons, the reptilians and whatnot. They have been planning for this hundreds of years. They get together every year with think tanks to come up with their agendas. So, of course, they went through the scenario that as they do all these things, people are going to get pissed off and start noticing something wrong. So you're telling me you really think that Trump is an outsider, outside of all this, not connected to any of them, and they didn't sit here every year and plan out an agenda? When he's literally a billionaire with ties to the Rothschilds spanning 30 years, connected to all the elites and everything like that, being funded by Bilderberg members like Peter Thiel. You don't think he's part of that? And now he's introducing it all, but just saying it in a way you want to hear. Instead of 15-minute cities, he calls it freedom cities. And oh yeah, I'm all for that. You guys are going to be sitting on your knees begging for the one world government. Not you guys as in my followers. I know you guys are awake. Okay? But I'm talking about the majority of people. Like the typical Canadian I see supporting this. They're going to be on their knees begging. You think that when the digital ID and the CBDCs come out, you think that they would have wanted to do that under Kamala Harris? Do you think they would have accepted that? Or Joe Biden? Probably not, right? Nobody trusts them. But Trump's going to come out, make it a cool thing, because he's with Elon Musk now, and they want X, the Everything app. He's even said he wants to have banking on X, the Everything app. And now Trump is talking about coming up with his own cryptocurrency as well on top of it all. The Freedom Coin, it'll probably be called, which will actually be the CBDC. Oh, and when things collapse and things get bad, that when this happens, people will be begging for an NWO, a one world government, because times are going to get tough. They're not going to have money to be able to buy food. They're going to lose their houses. Everything's going to happen when things crash. But could you imagine a savior comes in, somebody people trust like Trump, and says to them, hey, we got this new currency. I'm going to give you free money. Everything's going to be looking after. People will say, oh, it's Savior Trump. We trust Trump. There'll be one catch, though. To get your free money, your universal basic income, which has been a long-standing agenda of the powers that be. Even Elon Musk has spoken about that.
There will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Universal basic income.
Universal basic income. I think it's going to be necessary.
If you want that, you're going to have to do everything they want, including taking all the things that they want you to get. Oh yeah, you think the father of that thing, who still brags about it till this day, isn't going to keep pushing those things when he still has yet to speak out against it? Oh, don't worry, everybody said Trump is okay though because you gave us a choice. He may have taken full credit for manufacturing it and distributing it through Operation Warp Speed, and millions of people are dead because he told them that it's okay to take and it's safe and effective and all that, which he did say all the things, but it's okay because he gave choices. That's their defense. He didn't make it mandatory. He gave them the choice. Well, guess what? This won't be mandatory either. You're not going to have to accept the digital ID. You're not going to have to accept the CBDC. Oh, it's Trump. He's not going to make you do it. So, yeah, it's going to be your choice. But guess what? You're not going to get your free money. And you're not going to be able to operate within the beef system for survival. But he's going to give you the choice, right? Because it's got to be throughout your own consent. But you're going to be in for some especially rough times. You got to be prepared that you might lose your house. You might not have access to food. It's going to be very difficult. You may even be facing the prospect of death. And a lot of people said back when that was going on, a lot of people who didn't take that thing, they said, I will die on this hill before I take that. That's how adamant they were that they weren't going to comply to that. Do you guys feel that way about the digital ID? Because this is exactly where we're headed, and this is exactly what's going to happen. You're going to have to make that choice. If you want to survive, keep your things and whatnot, which you'll probably end up losing your things anyways. They want you in pods at the end of the day, believe it or not. But if you want a temporary little existence, living in your little pod, hooked up to the AI and everything, in your own, with your VR headset on, do you want that, or are you going to resist? And hey, Maybe you'll be homeless. Maybe you won't have money. Maybe you'll even die. But at least you'll die with your soul. I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen, my friends, but I know that's what they want to happen. And I know that's the direction we're headed in right now. And I know that people aren't resisting to it. So far, what I've seen, people are begging for it. People want it, and they are fully welcoming it because their Lord and Savior, Donald Trump, Zion Don, is convincing them that it's a good idea because they have no knowledge. They did not study what the NWO One World Government's all about. They did not study Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030. They don't have any knowledge. They have no idea what's going on. They're clueless because they didn't take the time to do their research or think critically. They rather just listen to their Lord and Savior, Donald Trump, because they're in a cult. And when you're in a cult, you don't think for yourself, you don't research, you just listen to what the cult leader says. And that's where the majority are headed right now. Very few people are talking about how this is part of a one world government. Okay? And it's frightening. So if that's where the majority are going, then the most possible outcome is that what I just laid out for you is what's going to happen. And once that happens, it's going to be too late. And you will be faced with that prospect. Do you get the digital ID? Do you take the things so you could survive? Or will you end up with nothing? No access to food? Because, you're not going to be able to buy food if you don't have the new currency. They're not going to accept dollars. There's going to be no more cash dollars. If you're thinking you're just going to go to a grocery store and pay with money, no, there will be no more money. There will only be that CBDC. You will only be able to pay with that. You're not going to be able to work without it, yeah? You're probably not even going to be able to work anyways because AI robots, Elon Musk and his robots are going to have taken over everything by then. But hey, nobody stopped it because they think Elon Musk is a good guy. Oh, Elon and Trump would never do us wrong. Nobody resisted it. So you're going to be in that position, believe it or not. Okay? So I'm just saying, that's where we're headed. This is the brutal truth. That's why this series of videos is called The Brutal Truth, because I'm telling you what's happening. It's brutal, but it's the nature of reality because people didn't want to think critically, do a bit of research, and they wanted to remain in their cult. That's why. So, for those of us who did think critically and have been awakened to all this and do understand the way this matrix works, we may have a little bit more hope. And I don't know what that hope is, but you guys have heard my message that you keep your frequency high enough and you go down a more positive timeline. You don't merge with the AI. And I don't know how it's going to, I have no idea what's going to happen for people like us. But I have faith that the minority of people, the very small amount of people who truly did go down a better path and work towards better self-development and had spiritual awakenings and raised their frequency through love and all that, I do believe that source is going to somehow guide us down a better path. I don't know if we'll be filtered right out of the matrix when all this happens, like a rapture event. I don't know. Or if it's going to be a totally different timeline. I don't know, but I do have faith that some of us are divinely protected and will go down a better path. But what you guys got to realize is a lot of us thought we were here to save the world. And that's what our mission was try to save the collective. It doesn't look like that's happening. So at this point, focus on saving yourself. Okay? Healing yourself, going down that path. Still spread the truth. I'm not saying don't give up on spreading the truth. I'm going to still be here pumping out my videos, spreading the truth on social media. You know, we still got to try, but it's safe to say the collective ain't going to make it. We're just looking to help ourselves and the other people who are willing to listen to save as many people as we can, to teach them how to escape this realm. But if you're thinking the collective is going to be saved, 99% of people are going along and begging for the one world government. I'm telling you that right now. that the majority will be duped into this. You know, I was hoping that most people would want to fight this, but they're such masters at what they do with their deception that it's going to turn into, and you'll see it more and more, people wanting this beast system. And why? Because of fear. They're in so much fear right now, and they don't know what else to do, and they're too cowardly to make any changes themselves and actually stand up for themselves and stand their own sovereignty. They rather just support government, and they rather just believe everything the government tells them, as humanity has always done, because they're too lazy and cowardly to do anything on themselves. They rather just fall for the heroes that the powers that be have given them. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. You don't have to do that, though. Stop giving your consent away. Rise above, stand in your own divine sovereignty, and just try to choose that more positive timeline for yourself, and then the universe, through divine synchrony or synchronicities, will lay out a path for you that sees that you are protected, and you find the communities that have chosen to stop being a bitch of the government and stop sucking up to the government. You will find your tribe, and somehow you will escape this realm without having to consent or conform to any AI agendas. But for the rest of humanity, better luck next time. The game of life, the movie, the dream, whatever you want to call it, is almost over. And once that happens, the Great Matrix reset will happen, and then the new Earth filled with the new AI beast system will begin. And these poor souls will have to try all over again after the reset and get in that reincarnation soul trap loop, and who knows God how many more lifetimes they'll be trapped here, and they'll have to try again. Better luck next time to ascend and get the heck out of here. This time just didn't make the cut. It's a shame, because people like myself and many of you watching, and many good-hearted, good-spirited people out there did try to do everything they can to awaken people. But unfortunately, you cannot force anybody to awaken. All you could do is plant seeds. And if they're not ready, they just simply aren't ready. So send them good vibes, send them good energy. My mission with today's video is hopefully to give some tough love, to awaken some people who are on the fence still, so they could really see what's going on here. But end of the day, it's all up to you guys to decide what you want to do with the information. Okay, that's it for today's video. That's it for today's rant. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to hear more rant videos, you let me know. Leave a comment down below. Some people always tell me when I do these that, hey, we like hearing you rant. Keep doing it, Lionel. You should do it more often. Well, you guys let me know. I get fired up like Alex Jones, too. I'd go even more crazier, but I'm in an apartment right now, and I don't want neighbors to think I'm nuts. But I could go, Okay, my friends, that's it for today's video. If you want to help support the channel, I'm on the website Buy Me a Coffee. That's right. You want to buy me a coffee here for my efforts to help keep this channel going? Well, I'll even send you free videos to your email address, because I'll get your email address when you buy me a coffee. And yeah, I'll send you a few Patreon videos as a thank you. And you know, any support helps. But what means the most, Soul Lionel, is just leaving a comment, let me know what you think, and hope you guys subscribed and all that. And that's it. Next video will be that video on the golden age of Saturn. What is this golden age Trump is talking about? What is it all about? What is coming in 2025 and beyond? Whew, that's going to be a good one. So stay tuned. I got to get to work on that now. Okay, Lionel, signing off.